The United States and Mexico have always been affected by each other's actions. Whatever happens in our neighbor to the south does affect us in a mild way. But whatever happens in America can either have a prosperous or a devastating effect in Mexico. Mexico has been in a 6-year inefficient and devastating drug war, which is due to a mixture of corruption and lack of efficiency for the Mexican government. Nevertheless, we have, to a certain extent, fueled this conflict and created a scenario for it to take place. How can this be, you may ask? The answer is simple. With so many drug users, we have created the market for the Mexican drug cartels. Furthermore, our Second Amendment in our Constitution has facilitated the trafficking of 90% of the weapons used by organized crime in Mexico.
But I will not pretend that this is Mexico's responsibility alone. The demand for these drugs in the United States is what is helping to keep these cartels in business. This war is being waged with guns purchased not here, but in the United States. More than 90% of the guns recovered in Mexico come from the United States, many from gun shops that line our shared border. So we have responsibilities as well. We have to do our part.
This is why a few days ago, a group of Mexicans decided to initiate a march from Mexico through the United States to raise awareness of a problem that affects both countries and that can't be resolved without the collaboration of the United States. This march, known as a Caravan for Peace, Justice, and Dignity, is led by a poet named Javier Sicilia, who is currently marching through cities in the southern US, adding more and more followers to his cause as he goes. His movement demands a stronger control over the exportation of high-caliber weapons to Mexico. Since 2004, the administration of George W. Bush nullified the law that restrained the commercialization of high-caliber weapons in the US from 1994 to 2004, therefore permitting any citizen to buy high-caliber weapons, making it easy for the Mexican drug cartels to have access to this powerful arsenal, which is then trafficked to Mexico. It is estimated that about 2,000 weapons a day are brought to Mexico illegally, making them one of the biggest contributors to the bloody drug war, which the Mexican government has been fighting since 2006. At least 60,000 lives have been claimed, including the lives of many civilians, migrants, reporters, policemen, and soldiers. Not to mention the economic and psychological impact that the war has brought upon the 110 million inhabitants in Mexico. The Mexican army is facing criminals who are equally armed. And in the past few months, Mexicans have come to realize that this war cannot be won with bullets, and it definitely won't be won without the help and collaboration of the US in certain aspects. The main problem is most Americans have no idea of the repercussions which the Second Amendment of the Constitution has brought upon Mexico. Repercussions which have arisen due to the private interests of a few weapon manufacturers, which in order to increment their fortunes and political power, have pushed to make the trafficking of weapons an indirect but lucrative business for themselves. It is vital to clarify that the Second Amendment of the American Constitution has brought suffering to both sides. We have suffered from massacres in schools, cinemas, and universities, while our southern neighbors have suffered from the use of these weapons by organized crime. This is why both nations must unify and work together to stop this amendment from harming our daily lives and to create a safe world for ourselves. A world in which the public interest of a few won't subdue the majority to unnecessary suffering.
He had a Smith & Wesson AR-15 type weapon. Some people call these assault weapons. But under Colorado law, there's nothing to prevent anybody from buying any of these weapons. They're all legal to purchase.
We know that banning military-style weapons and ammunition does in fact work. The studies cited here show a significant decrease in the use of these weapons in crimes during the period they were federally banned from 1994 to 2004. The weapons sold at gun shows all over the US are not designed for sport. They are designed to kill humans fast and efficiently. There is simply no reasonable need for these weapons in a civilized society. As long as we continue to allow them to be legally and easily available in America, they will continue to get into the wrong hands and kill a frightening number of people. As the most powerful nation in the world and a nation that stands for liberty and justice for all, we must realize that even though Mexico has a big share of responsibilities in this conflict, we have our share of responsibilities as well. The intention of this video is to raise awareness of this problem and to unify both Americans and Mexicans in the Pacific protest against the commercialization of high-caliber weapons to the public. So this is what we're gonna do. The first step you have to take is to share this video with all your contacts. We also have a high-caliber weapon. It's called social networks, and we're going to use it for good. If you have any friends in Mexico or Latin America with which you would like to share this, there's a link at the bottom with the version of the video in Spanish. You can help change this amendment by pacifically protesting in front of every city hall across the US, in front of the United Nations in New York, and in front of every US embassy around the world on Saturday 8th, 2012 at 4 p.m. The objective of this protest is to call the attention of the media, to pressure the United States government to change the Second Amendment to prevent high-caliber weapons from getting into the wrong hands. We also encourage everyone to join Javier Cecilia the 12th of September, when the Caravan for Peace will make its final approach to Washington D.C., demanding a change in the Second Amendment that will help to end the bloodshed. The future of both America and Mexico is in your hands. This generation has more power than ever to organize and act in order to change the world for the better. It is our responsibility to exercise this power in order to create a better world for generations to come.